environment. So Elizabeth, can you maybe share with the audience why is this topic important to you?
Sure. As a local, I understand your struggle, and it's not easy to move from that far away to Hong Kong. So what I believe is that everyone can be their best when their mind and body are balanced and healthy. This topic is close to my heart because I believe everyone has the potential to be their best as long as they know how to. So I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. What I do is use herbal medicine and acupuncture to help you be your best. And you can achieve your optimal health and prevent diseases and have the energy boost naturally by yourself.
Yeah, so I agree with Elizabeth. My approach is also very much to find the root cause of your symptoms. My focus is a lot on natural nutrition, and that is basically based on the principle of eating natural, alive, and good quality foods to stay healthy. As Candace mentioned before, I do have a passion of working with clients with digestive issues and also clients who experience hormonal imbalances. Okay.
So in this talk, we will follow an approach of answering the frequently asked question. How about we start the first one? Why do you feel tired? Can Vera share a bit in your approach to us?
Yeah, sure. Guys, so we're going to start with why do you feel tired? Now, I'm sure a lot of people have asked themselves this question. Now, first and foremost, I need to say that if you do experience long-term exhaustion and fatigue, it is important to first seek help from a medical doctor. Because unfortunately with fatigue, there can be a lot of underlying causes for it, such as thyroid issues or autoimmune diseases, mental health issues. So it is very important to first talk to a medical doctor if you do experience these symptoms. But from our side, and especially my side, the most common causes that I see among people, in Hong Kong especially, is due to poor sleep and diet. So firstly, sleep. A lot of people are just not getting enough sleep nowadays. So it doesn't matter how clean your diet is or what food you eat. If you don't get enough sleep, you're never going to be energized during the day. So that's definitely a big cause. And secondly, we're just not eating enough anymore, and we're not eating enough nutritious food. So with a lot of things in the market now, for example, intermittent fasting. Now, there's nothing wrong with intermittent fasting, and it is applicable to some people. The only problem with something like this is when it's taken to the extreme, which means that we're just not eating enough during the day. And we need to remember that we do get our energy from food. So if we're not getting enough food in, we're not going to feel energized. And what I mean also by not getting enough nutritious food is that nowadays we're also unfortunately not getting the balance of macronutrients that we need throughout the day to stay energized. So yeah, that's mostly the two causes that I see with clients. Elizabeth, can you share from a Chinese medicine practitioner viewpoint, why do your clients normally feel tired?
Of course. Thank you, Vera. So Vera mentioned that poor lifestyle can cause you fatigue, and I also agree with that. But in Chinese medicine, we talk a lot about balance. Like you can see two symbols here, yin and yang and 5 elements. This means that the harmony and balance in every aspect in your life. Elements such as like organs, emotions, all should be in balance. So in the graph here, I show 5 common causes of fatigue. We can see the first one, qi, and second one, blood. Qi and blood are the most essential substance in your life. If you have deficiency in qi and blood, you might have symptoms such as shortness of breath, weak voice, pale complexion, dizziness. So the third one is interesting. We call it dampness. In Chinese, that is subhei. Dampness, you can see that a condition that your body is highly humidity. So you will feel something like bloated, water retention. And the fourth one is qi stagnation. What does that mean? It's the energy blockage in your body. You might have mood swing, chest tightness. And the fifth one is the lingering pathogen. That means you might not be fully recovered from the previous cold or flu. And it actually indicates that you have weak immunity, you have some unexpected muscle fatigue as well. So it is very difficult for you to get recovered by flu. These 5 common causes that will cause you fatigue, and they are your body constitution. How do you know if you have these 5 symptoms? Is that usually you go to a Chinese medicine practitioner or you see yourself with these common symptoms that you can tell.
Elizabeth makes a good point about the weak humidity. So a lot of us, unfortunately, after COVID, I know have experienced this year a lot of illnesses. A lot of people are sick constant. So it's now more important than ever to really look after our health and to really focus on humidity as well. Okay, so the second question we want to address is, why do you feel sleepy after eating? So me included, I'm sure you've experienced this. After a big lunch, for example, during lunch hour, then you go back to the office and a few minutes or 30 to 60 minutes later, you feel extremely exhausted and you're just ready to go take a nap. So there's actually a reason why this is happening, and it's all to do with our blood sugar levels. So what I mean by this is that when we eat a meal that are very high in like refined carbohydrates or sugar, this can actually spike our glucose levels. So how it works is that if we have too much glucose in our meal, our body struggles to get rid of the glucose. So this will cause like a abruptly spike in your blood sugar. So as you can see in that graph, it's a little bit small, but so what happens if it goes abruptly up, what goes up will come down as well. So 30 to 60 minutes later, your blood sugar can crash. And this is what causes like that exhaustion and tired feeling. How can we avoid this? So I'll talk a little bit later about recommendations, but we want to focus on eating protein, healthy fats, and fiber at every meal, and not always just have a very heavy refined carb and sugar meal, because that can help to slow your glucose uptake. So some just examples, for example, salad with quinoa and egg, so you get your fiber, you get your egg, your protein. Salmon is really good because the healthy fat and also protein with leafy greens. Sweet potatoes, a carbohydrate, but a low glycemic carbohydrate, so it won't spike your blood sugar. And chickpea is a really nice protein as well, and a non-animal source protein. So you might be wondering also what are sort of signs that I can look out for that I'm experiencing blood sugar imbalances. So as we mentioned, feeling really sleepy in the afternoon. Another sign is when you have strong and sudden cravings. For example, in the afternoon, if you tend to gravitate to buying snacks, sugary snacks, to keep you awake, that can be a sign. Or if you cannot go through the day without grabbing coffee all the time, that can also be a sign. Also, when we have these macronutrients like fiber, fat, and protein on meal, it should keep us saturated for longer. But if we just rely on sugar, then we can feel hungry more easily. So that can be a sign as well. Most people are familiar with hangry. So when you feel angry because you're hungry, that can also be a sign of blood sugar imbalances. Overweight, especially around the belly area. And then another sign can be if you wake up around 2 to 3 a.m. in the mornings, that can either be your cortisol levels are too high, or you might have a blood sugar crash as well. So that's sort of the signs that you can look out for. So Elizabeth, can you share from your viewpoint why people sometimes can feel sleepy after eating?
Sure, thank you, Vera. So I like how we approach things differently, but we can get to a common ground. So Vera talked about the imbalance in blood sugar. In Chinese medicine, we talk about balancing, like I said before. Qi and blood flow should be balanced throughout our whole body. But after eating, those blood and qi flows mainly going to the spleen and stomach, which are for digestion, and they're not going through the brain. That's why you will feel sometimes drowsy. So there are a few factors that will increase the energy required for digestion. First of all, the body type. Like I mentioned before, there are 5 common fatigue body types. And the first 2, qi and blood deficiency, that you will feel more tired after eating. Second, low overall energy level that will cause you to feel more fatigue. And third, what you eat. Like if you eat something that is very hard to digest or a large meal, that will increase your energy requirement for digestion. Second, this is the situation of qi stagnation. That means after eating a large meal, that will cause to block the qi in your bloodstream, and that will result you from feeling a bit heavy and tired. There are a few reasons that will cause the qi stagnation, that means energy blockage. First of all, overeating. It overwhelms your digestive system. And second, poor eating habit. That means if you eat too quickly or when you are stressed, just like what Vera said, and you can imagine this qi stagnation like the symptoms of bloating or gassy or sometimes irregular bowel movement. And third, eating heavy or greasy food choice that will make you feel sluggy. And the fourth one, emotional factors. This one I would like to further explain for a bit. Before we talk about the 5 elements, each organ is correlated to each other. For emotion factors, which is identified by like the liver function, if you are feeling stressed or anxious, that your qi flow in your liver will be destroyed, and that would eventually affect the spleen and stomach function. And that's why you have the qi stagnation, that your stomach will feel bloated or gassy. So this is the reason why you will feel sleepy after eating in TCM perspective. How about we go to the next slide? How to avoid the tiredness after eating? Do you have any strategy to share with us?
Yes, so I'll share with you my top tip. I mentioned it before, but I'll highlight it here. Is to remember to combine protein, healthy fats, and fiber at every meal and snack. So very important. The easy way to remember is PFF is your blood sugar's BFF. So I know it takes a little bit of thinking when you think about a meal, but make sure that you combine those 3 because it will help to slow your digestion and your glucose into your bloodstream. And what does this mean? It means that we'll have less sugar spikes, that we'll have more sustainable energy because our glucose will gradually go higher instead of just abruptly. And it means that we'll have less of those energy crashes 30 to 60 minutes after eating. So I know I won't go over protein sources. A lot of you know about protein. I just want to highlight that sometimes people forget that we don't only have to eat like chicken or a piece of meat to get our protein. We can also focus on non-animal protein sources. So remember your nuts and seeds, your whole grains, and your beans and legumes are important, very important protein sources as well, and they have a lot of nutrients in them as well. Okay, so over to Elizabeth. Can you share your answer to the question?
Of course. Thank you, Vera, for sharing like how you choose the food. How about let's talk about the exercise. Exercise is a good way to move the qi stagnation. Imagine this is your bloodstream, and there's a qi blockage in the middle. If you exercise, that could improve your blood circulation, and the qi stagnation will be going away. And second, what if you feel more tired after exercising? That means the stagnation might not be your problem. It's more likely to be suffering from a qi or blood deficiency. That means you don't have enough energy in general. So in the modern terms, we can see it from having a weak digestive system. That, for example, if you have the insufficient stomach acid or digestive enzyme, that you will suffer from the qi and blood deficiency in your gut health.
Yeah, Elizabeth makes a good point as well about walking after meal. I actually personally incorporated that this year after my lunch break. I go for a walk, and it's definitely made a massive difference in my energy levels and my digestion as well. Okay, so on to the next. Should I drink coffee in the afternoon? So this can be a sensitive subject because I know a lot of people love their caffeine. And yeah, we're here to say that there's nothing wrong with caffeine. There's a lot of benefits actually to coffee. A lot of research has come out to prove the benefits of caffeine. The only problem with coffee is if we drink it too much and we drink it too late in the afternoon. Because the problem with that is that it can disrupt our sleep. So if we drink coffee in the evening, it can lead to having trouble sleeping. Because we call this like the coffee cycle, so coffee tiredness cycle, which it's really hard to break out of if you have coffee in the afternoon. Also, we need to remember if we do take out lattes, for example, we need to be aware of the sugar content. So there can be a lot of sugar in coffee that can also spike your blood sugar. And although it's great that we have alternative milk options now, you need to remember that sometimes the store-bought milk options also has a lot of processed ingredients. And for example, oat milk is also carbohydrate, so it can spike your blood blood sugar as well. So a good alternative to coffee, if someone wants to explore other alternatives, is like, for example, a matcha latte. It has really nice antioxidants. But again, be aware if you buy it at this coffee shop, be aware of the sugar content in it as well. And there's some like health organizations that has deemed that around 400 mg of coffee per day wouldn't affect a healthy person. So that is around 4 cups a day. Personally, I think that's quite high still. So my recommendation was to always try to limit it to 2 cups and to really focus on drinking it more in the morning, not in the afternoon. But then I have to say that remember that everyone is unique. So some people can take more caffeine than others. So some signs that you can look out for if maybe your body doesn't digest caffeine well, it's like shaky hands or feeling irritable or getting headaches. So yeah, just be aware that everyone is different. So this is not, every recommendation won't be suited for every person. So yeah, I'm curious to hear about the Chinese medicine viewpoint on caffeine.
Thank you, Vera. And thank you for sharing what the type of coffee we should choose and the timing. And you also shared that everyone is unique. And I love that idea because I think the same. So in Chinese medicine, we agree that we should eat and drink for your body type. Like those I mentioned before, there are 5 common body types that would make you fatigue. In Chinese medicine, it's also interesting that food has their own property and their function. So for coffee, it is warming, drying, bitter, and sweet. That means it is suitable for people having the cold constitution or yang deficiency. You may experience symptoms like cold hand, painful joint. You feel cold easier than other people. And excessive intake, like Vera agreed, over 2 cups would cause you excessive heat. What is excessive heat means? There are some symptoms that included like heart palpitation, you feel sweaty, dry mouth and dry throat as well. So these are the table that I choose some of the herbs that is suitable for your body type. By drinking this herbal tea, it can solve your root cause and make you feel more energetic naturally.
Okay, next one.
So can Vera teach us how to boost the energy naturally?
Yeah, sure. So just a last note from me. So I'm just going to give you some quick recommendations that you can incorporate. So I mentioned previously sleep, how important sleep is. So first and foremost, before even looking at your diet, you need to improve your sleep. So you can focus really on creating like a calming nighttime routine. So try to avoid technology, try to avoid doing work late at night. You can incorporate meditation, breathing exercises to help you wind down in the evening. And also I want to mention that if you do tend to wake up around 2, 3 a.m. in the evening, it can be a sign of a blood sugar crash, but it can also be a sign of cortisol being too high. So cortisol is our stress hormone. So if we have that wake up, then first of all, maybe work on reducing your stress. And secondly, if it's blood sugar related, that you can maybe focus on eating like a protein snack before you go to bed, maybe an hour before bed, because this will give you more like saturated energy throughout the night. Some examples, you can eat a hard-boiled egg at night, or like a cup of edamame, or maybe like a hard sliced cheese or nuts is a great small snack as well, just to give you that energy through the night. I mentioned stress, important. Nowadays, it's really impossible to avoid stress, but there are a lot of stress management techniques out there you can focus on, because remember, if we are in that constant fight or flight mode, our body will actually reserve energy to be used, which means our glucose or blood sugar can spike as well. And then eat nutritious food. So I mentioned previously to focus on your protein, your healthy fats, and your fiber, but also carbohydrates are needed in our diet. Just focusing on eating the right sort of good quality carbohydrates. So we want to focus on low glycemic food. So these are food that won't spike our blood sugar. And some examples, for example, sweet potato, we get oats, brown rice, green peas. We get our berries, which are also high in antioxidants, and leafy greens, a lot of other nutrients as well. And also just a note on these sort of the protein, fiber, and fats that I've mentioned, they're also really good for cellular health. Now that's a complete other topic that I won't go into today, but we need these sort of nutrients to keep our cells healthy. And our cells will help to produce energy for us as well, which is very important. And then last point here is that what a lot of people forget is avoid poor calorie distribution. A lot of people, when they're working, they forget to eat during the day. And then at night, when they get home, they completely relax. And then they overeat because that hunger will hit them immediately. We want to avoid that because what means is during the day, we won't have any energy because we're not getting any energy from food. And at night, we'll have that blood sugar spike as well. So try to eat smaller meals throughout the day, which is very important. Can we move on to our final slide? As Elizabeth is going to share some fitness herbs that can boost boost our fitness, which is quite applicable to where we are today.
Thank you, Vera. And I like how you share it. We should always prioritize eating well, sleeping enough, and manage your emotion well. So what if you need a little boost for your fitness performance? This one is a few herbs that I list above, and this is actually sorted from a paper. It's called Herbal Medicine for Sport, a review on PubMed. They can search it. So you can take a photo from here. I'm not going to share all of it, but there are two that I want to mention today. Like we mentioned coffee. Coffee, actually, they have the caffeine. Caffeine is scientifically proved that it can increase the endurance capacity, running performance, muscle strength, immune response, and also anabolic performance. So if you want this kind of benefit, some coffee or green tea would be great for you. And the other thing is ginger. Ginger on this side. So it can increase your fatigue resistance in athletes and also decrease your inflammatory biomarker. And in Chinese medicine, ginger has the effect of warming, and it can also reduce the early symptoms of flu or cold, and it can make you feel less nauseous or stomach discomfort. So in my practice, I usually recommend my client to add a bit of ginger in their diet because it's good for your gut health and also for your immune system. So in general, as a Chinese medicine practitioner and also sport nutritionist, when my client come to see me that they want to boost their athletic performance, some herbs will be great for them to improve their function of their organs. And also acupuncture is great that we can improve the range of motion, help them with muscle fatigue, and also solve with some sports injury. Again, this kind of supplement are available in store. If you want to incorporate in your routine, you should ask for some professional advice at first. So I think this is...
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Elizabeth, and thank you, everyone, for joining. We really hope that you've got some practical lifestyle tips that you can incorporate right away to help you with your energy levels. And then you can talk about social media.
So this is the page, and we both have the Instagram. If you have some question, you can also reach us on Instagram. Don't be shy, and we love to help you with your healthy journey.
Yeah, and we also want to thank Zoop. Thank you very much for inviting us here today. If you want to learn more about their services, they're actually in booth 27 and 29. So you can go there if you have time, try out their products and services, and even enter their lucky draw. So thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And that ends our session.